In 2016, I was called into ministry in a very, I think it's kind of a different way. At the time, our then pastor was at the podium one Sunday and saying, listen, we're calling. We're asking for people to pray. We're asking for people to begin to lift up and start praying about new leaders and raising up leaders and pastors in our church. And, you know, that kind of hit home with me a little bit. So I know my wife, Melissa, and I, we began praying along with the rest of the church and just asking, you know, God to raise up leaders and pastors in the church. And it was probably, I don't know, that was going on for a couple of weeks. And then it was just like one night we were going to bed, and I'm not one of those guys who has these super realistic dreams and can remember them. I'm just not that guy, but I started having visions and dreams of me being a pastor, and and then seeing them a little bit in color, and didn't think a whole lot of it, and just kind of let it go away. That first time I had a dream about that, and that went on for, I don't know, I would say a good week, and I never thought a ton about it, but I was having an outing actually with our then pastor, and during dinner I had asked him, I said, Pastor, what do you think of this? And he looked at me and he kind of smiled and he said, well, I can tell you exactly what's happening. He says, you're being called to ministry. And I said, no, I'm not. Very blatant and honest with him. I said, no, I'm not. I'm not being called to ministry. That's not who I am. That's not me. It's not for me. He goes, okay, if you think so, but I'm telling you. So for the next, I would say the next week, the dreams continued, and there was a couple nights where I didn't dream, and then I remember this really, really, I don't know, so realistic, like I felt like I was standing there, and I was dreaming, and the next thing I know, boom, I had fallen out of bed. I've never fallen out of bed in my life that I could ever recall. And my wife jumps up and she's like, what happened? I was telling her about it, and she goes, wow, I think you need to talk to the pastor. So I had seen him that following Sunday, and I said, Pastor, I was thrown out of bed. And he goes, what do you mean? And I started to tell him and explain all this to him. And he says, he again just laughed and he chuckled and he said, yeah, you're being called to ministry, Jim, and if you don't want to believe me, he goes, there's others that also are ready to confirm and have known this for a while, and we've just been waiting for you. I believe I've been called to either a bivocational or full-time pastor, possibly leading a church, planting a church, and I believe this is just what I was meant to do, and I say that because of a couple of reasons. Something that we have been doing very prayerfully. Where does God want me? Where does God want Melissa and I? What are we supposed to be doing? And several times it's been very clear in full-time ministry or bivocational ministry, but to lead a church, to lead a flock. And we believe that, Melissa and I still continue to believe that. And so we continue to pray. We have other prayer warriors and other friends of ours who have been so kind and gracious to be praying with us and for us about this. And we believe that is where we will end up somewhere. Do we have the complete vision of it just yet? No, but it's something that we believe will happen. When I see folks come up, or folks come up for prayer, or I can see somebody at times, I can feel pain. not that like I physically feel the pain, but I can feel the emotion of it. I know that there's something wrong, something's not right, which helps me to be able to navigate through a prayer and understand what is happening in their life. And some people that I've been, fortunate and blessed to pray with and for have said, "How did you know?" And I said, "I just felt it." It's a great gift, which is usually accompanied by tears, but it's good. But I can say vision is another one. Being able to visualize and see what the future is bringing for Melissa and I, or others even. It does come to me, and it's usually in a pretty powerful way. Enough to know that to let me know that this is the way in which you're to travel, like, and share this vision. Maybe it's another person, maybe it's myself. And those are a couple of them, but I would have to say discernment is another one. Just being able to take time in the presence of God and just sit in a quiet room and pray and just wait upon the Lord. It's something Melissa and I do often, and I would have to say that it has been pretty powerful at times, and it's just been really good.